Hello, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good.
Okay, thank you. So now, on this occasion, I would like to present about the material. It is about applied linguistics. So before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Putu Alia. My student identification number is 23120211018. So today we're gonna learn about applied linguistics, but first we learn about the definition of applied linguistics, and then the importance of applied linguistics, and then the scope of applied linguistics, and then after that we have quiz time, and then the last it is a conclusion. So without further ado, first I want to explain about definition of applied linguistics. So here I have three sources that give me about definition of linguistics. First, from Cambridge Dictionary, it is the study of language as it affects situation in the real life, for example, in education or technology. And then next is from Brunfit 1997. It is said that applied linguistics is the theoretical and empirical investigation of real world problems in which language is a central issue. And then next from Richard and Schmidt 2002. It is the study of second and foreign language learning and teaching, and then the study of language and linguistics in relation to practical problems such as lexicography, translation, and then speech pathology, and etc. So from those all source, we can make a conclusion. It is applied linguistics is using what we know about language, and then how it is learned, and then how it is used, and in order to achieve some purpose or solve some problem in the real world. So here I have a videos about what is applied linguistics, and then now we can watch it together.
$100 for textbooks. What do you study?
I'm studying applied linguistics.
What the hell is that?
This is a good question because the reality is most people have no idea what linguistics is. I certainly didn't know anything about it. I was the opposite of a linguist before I took my first intro to linguistics class. So what is linguistics, and what makes something more specifically applied linguistics? Linguistics is basically the science of language. We all speak or sign a native language, right? But how and why does that language actually work? How does it work in our brains? How do we understand it? How do we learn? How does that affect our culture, our personality, our society? Linguistics investigates, researches, and tries to answer that how and why. And once we get results and data on the how and why, applied linguistics takes that information and uses it to improve the systems and things that we use language for. Research shows that this helps people learn a second language, so let's take that and apply it to language learning courses. This study shows certain methods are better at teaching children to read and write, so let's implement those methods in our schools. Research shows that we have conscious and unconscious biases towards certain accents, so let's take that into consideration when we're making certain workplace hiring and discrimination laws. Linguistics, very broadly, is the research and science behind languages. Applied linguistics is quite literally just applying it. Just like we could use that phrase for applied physics or applied mechanics or any other thing where you take research and apply it to improve the things that we use. So I hope this helps you understand a bit more about what linguistics is and how incredible it is. And leave a comment for any more questions that you might have, and follow me for those answers.
Give you $100.
Okay, that's all about what is applied linguistics. And then next it is why applied linguistics is important. So applied linguistics is important. So here I have for function. I think that is first. It is to examine the structure of language and its role in the communication. And then the second is for understanding and addressing the complexity of human communication in various contexts. And then to understand and navigate linguistically diverse environments. And then the last, it is to investigate how social and cultural environment interacts with their own language. So here I have a videos again about why applied linguistics is important. So now we can watch it together.
Why do you love applied linguistics? Well, in one form at least, applied linguistics is both an art and a science. So I love the fact that we can bring scientific concepts and methods to bear on subjects like politics and the media, which are traditionally humanistic. Here, applied linguistics can help us to critically understand the power of language to persuade and to manipulate. Applied linguistics, therefore, has real-world benefits in challenging power and discrimination.
Okay, I think that's all about why applied linguistics is important. Okay, next we move the scope of applied linguistics. Here I have four scopes. First is about language and education, and then language and society, and then language word and law, and then language information and events. So first is about language and education. This scope covers methods of language teaching in doing teaching learning activity. Linguistics is applied on those methods. So for example, like two informs teaching methodology, and then curriculum development, language assessment, and technologies in language education. So next, here it is about language and society. This scope applied linguistics explores the function of language in social or cultural context. Examining the social and cultural elements is the impact of language use. So next, there is a language word and law. It is the scope to inform studying communication in the workplace and language planning. And then next is language information and effect. It is studies about literary, stylistic, critical resources, analysis, translation and interpretation, information design, and then about lexical. So now here we move to the scope of applied linguistics. First is language and education. It is divided, or has an example for like first language education. It is when a child studies in their home, in their own home about a language. And then next is additional language education, and it is divided into parts. First is second language education and foreign language education. And then for second language education, it is when someone studies their society's majority or official language which is not their home language. And then about foreign language education is when someone studies the language of another country. So next in language and education, there are also about clinical linguistics. It is the study and treatment of speech and communication impairments, whether hereditary, developmental, and acquired through the injury, stroke, illness, or age. And then next is there is language testing. It is the assessment and evaluation of language achievement and proficiency, both in first and additional language, and for both general and specific purpose. So, next in language and society, in the scope of language and society, there is social linguistics. And I think before I explain this material, we have learned about what is social linguistics. So can everyone raise your hand? Can you give me a definition about what is social linguistics? Anyone want to raise your hand? Okay, Nadia.
Thank you for the time. My name is Alia. Basically, social linguistics is learning about society and language.
Yes, and then here is a social linguistics. It is the studies about the relationship between the society and language, and explore or solve the problem related to the society that affects the language, and then varieties of language in society, and then terms of typus or euphemism, and etc. Okay, next in the scope of language, word, and law, it is there is workplace communication, and then it is the study of how language is used in the workplace and how it contributes to the nature and the power relations of different types of work. And then in the language work and law, there is also language planning. It is the making of decisions, often supported by legislation about the official status of languages and their institutional use, including their use in education. And then next is there is language planning. It is making. I think it's a wrong in here, so we can next. Okay, next is about language information and effect. So first there is a language. So first there is a critical discourses analysis or CDA. It is the study of the relationship between linguistic choices and effects in persuasive use of language and of how this indoctrinate or manipulate, for example, like in marketing or in politics, and then the contracting of this through analysis. And then here, language information and effect, it is the study of the relationship between linguistic choices and effects in the literature. So next, in the language information and effect, there is translation and interpretation. It is the formulations of principles underlying the perceived equivalence between a piece of language and its translation. And along with the practice of translating written text and interpreting spoken language are the key of aspect. And then next is there is information designs. So the arrangement and presentation of written language, including issues relating to typography and layout choices of medium, and an effective combination of language with other means of communication, such pictures and diagram. Next, in language information and effect, in the last there is lexicography, and it is the planning and compiling of both monolingual or bilingual dictionaries and other language reference words such as the thesaurus. Okay, I think that's all from me. So now we move to quiz time. Okay, here's the code, and you can access this code in your device. So can I start this?
Yes.
Okay, I will start. Okay, this is the first one. It is Ram. And then it's Eklan. It is Nadia. And then the last is Jumar. Okay, I think that's all from me. And then the class is about conclusion. And applied linguistics is the study of language and its practical application in the real world context. And then the scope of applied linguistics, there are language and education, and then language and society, language work and love, and then language information and effect. And then their scope can be divided in different parts that I explained before, and it is linguistics is important for understanding language and practical context and improving language related practices. So I think that's all from me, and then I close with Paramasanti. Santi.